Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Okay, so Venerable Sangha, Shyales and dear Dhamma friends. So today we resume our discussion on our Kusalattika Paṭṭhāna. So far we have done quite a lot. And since the beginning, I was very clearly reminding you all that you need to memorize certain parts. And I hope that y'all are doing it. But if you have not started it yet, please start doing it, because it's going to be very important in the upcoming sections that we are going to do. So please work on that, right? Don't take this thing lightly, because after some point in our course that you may decide to leave just because that you don't remember the analytical states for specific conditions, right? On the conditions, really. So please make sure that you all work on them, right? So I hope that you all can remember that in the last time we met, not the last week, in the week before, we started discussing the commons, right? Commons for each of the conditions in the connaissance group. So we learned what the meaning of common, and then there were two terms here, right? Completely and appropriately. And then we started discussing certain, we started discussing the paccayas, right? We discussed up to the magga paccaya, the path conditions, right? So we'll move into the next condition, which is the mental nutriment condition, and discuss them. So in the mental nutriment condition, the conditioning state, right, for the anchor, the mula paccaya, is the phassa, contact, cetana, volition, vijnana, the consciousness. So these three are the conditioning states. So we can very easily compare these three with the other paccayas from the connaissance group. So starting from hetu, it's not a common, right? Because hetu are the three roots, 6 roots, and so nothing goes with this one. And for the Sahajāta adhipati, for Sahajāta adhipati, then it becomes a common due to chittadhipati, right? The consciousness and mind predominance, right? Chittadhipati, they become a common because of that. And then we have the nama ahara, which is becoming common with the Sahajāta kamma, right? So for the Sahajāta kamma, the volition is the conditioning state, and then the volition is the conditioning state, and it becomes common with the Sahajāta kamma because of the cetana. And with the Sahajāta indriya, it becomes common because of consciousness, manindriya. And for the case of jhana and magga, it's not common, right? The reason is very obvious, because for jhana and the magga, the conditioning states, they do not become common, right? And with the Sahajāta large, right, connaissance large and connaissance middle, it becomes common. It becomes common, right? Okay, so how does this happen? So how does it happen? I mean, how? Now we remember that there are two stages, right? Two ways that it becomes common, right? Either inappropriately or in completely, right? So for the case of with the Sahajāta small group paccayas, when it becomes common, right? For the Sahajāta predominance, and for the Sahajāta kamma, and for the Sahajāta indriya, connaissance faculty. So these are appropriate, right? They become common in inappropriate in appropriate way. With the connaissance large, it becomes connaissance great group. It becomes completely, right? We learned this thing last week. And for the connaissance middle, there are 4 paccayas, right? So what are the 4 paccayas? We have vipaka, we have anyamanya, sampayutta, and we have the vipayutta, right? So with all these paccayas, they become common in appropriately, because each of these paccayas, they are connected with the namahara mental nutriment condition partially. Okay, so then we have the connaissance commons for the connaissance faculty condition. So I think this is the one which has the most number of commons, because the reason is that for the connaissance faculty there are many conditioning states, right? For conditioning state, I think there were 9 conditioning states here. 9, is it? Yeah. So there are 9 conditions. So then it becomes common with many conditions from the group, right? From the Sahajāta group. So starting from hetu, right? It's common due to amoha, non-delusion. So where can we find the non-delusion? It comes here, right? Then we have Sahajāta adipati. It becomes common due to predominance of mind, effort, and investigation, right? So predominance of mind is what? This one, right? Manindriya. And then we have the effort, right? Effort is viriya, right? Viriya adipati. And then investigation is panya.
Until there are 8 paccayadhamma, not 9, I think.
Sorry, is it 8 only?
I counted 8.
Oh, then it should be 8, yeah, maybe. Correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, only 8, yes, you're correct. So regarding the mental nutriment factor, mental nutriment condition, so vijnanahara is the vijnana here, right? It's the mind, it comes here. And we have the vedana and ekagrata, right? For the jhana, feeling and concentration, right? So feeling, vedana, it comes here. Concentration, it comes here. Yeah. For the magga, we have the samadhi, right view, which is the wisdom here. Then we have sammasati, the right mindfulness becomes common. I think we need one more, which is samma samadhi. The other factor is it's missing here. Samma samadhi, which is in English we call it right concentration. So become a common with ekagrata too. Here, concentration.
Plenty also samavayama.
Yes, correct. Samavayama needs to come there too. Yes, correct. Okay, so we'll add that one too. right effort. So yeah, this one too, Samavaya. Okay, so here, so for the case of the connaissance faculty, so this is common, right? This is common with all the, sorry, we have to explain another two. It's common with the connaissance grade, right? It's obvious, and also with the connaissance medium group, right? And it is not common, like, apart from the Sahajāta kamma, it is common with all the other conditions in the Sahajāta group. So they have 14 of them. Okay. So now we move into the sixth paccaya, the sixth condition. So the sixth condition is the Sahajāta kamma, connaissance kamma. So it's only common with the namahara, right? It's because of the volition. So from the, I'm sorry, it's only common with the Sahajāta small group because of this one, right? Chetana. So apart from that, only we have the Sahajāta great and the Sahajāta medium group. So how many conditions in total? Just 9, right? 9, and including the Chetana, the connaissance kamma, there are 10. Okay, so now we move into the seventh condition. Right? Seventh condition is the connaissance predominance, and with the connaissance predominance condition, so first it's common with hetu, right? It's common with hetu because of Vimansadipati, predominance of investigation, and it becomes common with Vimansa, the investigation, right? And it's not common with the Sahajāta kamma, because Sahajāta kamma we have only the Chetana as the conditioning state. And it's common with the Nama Ahara because of the Vijnana Ahara, mental nutriment, right? When in the mental nutriment, it becomes common. So it comes here as Chitta. And then it becomes common with the connaissance faculty group because of the mind faculty, which is again this one. And then Viri Indriya, effort, Virya, right? Yeah. So it's not just the Pañhāvara, so we can take all 5 of them, because in the among the 22 faculties, there are 5 faculties which are part of wisdom, right? 5 or 4?
4 only.
4, right? Only 4, right? Yeah, it's 4, right? Okay. Okay, so it's not common with jhana, and it's common with the magga paccaya because of samma vayama, the right effort, right? Okay, okay. Samma vayama here, and it's common with samadhi, right view, which is the investigation. And it's common with the Sahajāta great group and Sahajāta middle group. So altogether there are how many paccayas? 9, 10, 11. And including the connaissance predominance, there are 13 conditions in total here. Okay, so with that, we have completed. Oh, we are not completed. We have left more, right? Okay, so investigation of the commonality, the commons in the connaissance group. So for the connaissance grade group, it's always common, right? Common with all the groups. But Yeah. So even though it's common with all the conditions in the connaissance group, regarding these 4 conditions, it was stated that only the conditions in the great subgroup, right? The great connaissance group are considered here. So it's stated only 4 conditions are common, right? So I mean, it's common with all the other. I mean, if you take one condition in the connaissance group and connaissance grade group, that great subgroup, that it's common with all the 14 other pachas, but due to a reason, it's only stated as 4 conditions, right? The reason which I mean, the reason why it is presented like this, we'll learn later on when we learn the next main next main subtopic, right? So now even if I explain it here, now we will not understand it, right? So for the connaissance middle group, right? So the connaissance middle group, it's only considered, I mean, in addition to the I mean, the grade, the pachas from the connaissance grade subgroups are considered always. And for the some of the connaissance middle group, there are certain other pachas which comes, which is which is applied completely, right? So those pachas are only taken here. I will go through them one by one. So first one is for the mutuality condition for the anyamanya. So it only takes five conditions, for 4 conditions from the connaissance large group, and totaling to 5 conditions, right? And for the resultant condition, it's the same case. It have only 5 conditions in total, which with the grade subgroup. But with the case of the Sampayutta, for the association, there are 6 taken, right? 6 means that 4 which comes from the connaissance large group, and also the mutual is taken. So that totals to 6 conditions, right? So 4 plus 1 plus 1. So there are 6 conditions here taken. The reason for taking this mutual condition, right? So the reason to take this mutual condition is that whenever the association condition arise, there will be always the mutual condition. So that's why it is taken here, right? So that is the reason for that. But now you may have this question. So why when we are talking the mutuality condition, why this association was not taken? The reason is that every time when the mutuality condition is there, the association condition is not there, right? So it's applicable. The mutuality and association, they mean to arise together when the relationship is between the nama and nama, right? So then there is this mutuality condition. In the mutuality condition, then the association is there. But we know in some part of the certain parts of the mutuality condition, mutuality, there is a relationship between, like this, right? Nama and Rupa, right? Like this, there is a relationship. So the association only comes here, but it does not come here. So that's why in the mutuality, only 5 conditions were taken.
But they also rupa to rupa for mutuality.
Anyamanya.
Yeah.
Where does it come? Yes, it's there. Yes, the rupa to rupa is also there when the Mahabhuta. Yeah, so rupa and rupa, right? When the 4 great elements are supporting each other, then there is this rupa to rupa condition. So at that time also there is this anyamanya. I'm sorry, the association is not there. For the disassociation, the Viparita, only the great subgroup are considered. So there are 5, only 5. Okay, so with that we have completed discussing the commons, the commonality among all the paccayas which comes in the connaissance group. So yes, right. So now we will be discussing the analytical states in the connaissance group. Now we already discussed the analytical states, right? So especially regarding for all the paccayas, the subject and the condition and the condition states. But when we were discussing it previously, we did not included this the instrumental case, the analytical states for the instrumental case, right? Because we did not know at that time on how these paccayas become common, right? So because of that, we did not learn it previously. But now we are learning these analytical states together with the instrumental case, right? So what happens, what is special in this analytical states together with the instrumental case? The special thing is that when a particular relationship is considered for a particular condition with its condition states, here we are discussing the other common conditions to that root condition, right? Root means, sorry, the anchor condition, right? So we take one anchor condition and then we discuss what are the other conditions which are applicable, conditioning states. What are the other conditioning states which are applicable for each of the relationship, right? So that's what we are doing. So previously we could not do that because we were learning the first step to find the analyticals, the common. Before understanding the commons, first we need to have an understanding on the conditioning and the condition states of each of the paccayas. So that's what we did previously, right? Yes. So the format of the presentation will be that we'll be discussing all of these 7 conditions, right? For all of these 7 conditions, we have this table here, which is the summary of the analytical states. And then there is this, in detail, it is presented below the tables, right? So that is the format which we'll be discussing. So really we have already discussed the condition and the condition states, right? So there's no much to explain it here. Nevertheless, we'll be explaining again, right? And then we'll be discussing especially with the attention to the instrumental case. So I have to state, like, now I translated this with the use of AI, and again, like it's like this sentence. I would say that this whatever the analytical states which we present, we learn it's from the Burmese Nissa, right? From the Burmese books which comes here. So I have to state that here with, like, in the Burmese Nissa, this is one sentence really, right? One sentence. But in English, when I did it, I think, like, I did it with the AI, of course, and with the complexity and presenting it, then I think it's better to split the sentence into 2, and then it was presented like this, right? So if somebody is capable of learning Burmese, they will not find this sentence in one go in the Burmese books, right? So that you have to remember. So for some reason, it's very easy to write these kind of sentences for the analytical states in Burmese, very long sentences. And it's quite easy to translate them into my language, Sinhalese. But with my skill in English, I don't know how to do it in one go and still make it. I mean, it's not going to be very what do you call? It's very easy to understand if you present it in one way, right? I mean, I'm not very skillful to do that, so I think it's better. I think it's better to present it in this way. Okay. So the first one is that this part of the sentence, uh, like the personal relationship is kusalo, kusalasa, wholesome to wholesome. The wholesome Dhamma serves as a conditioning phenomena for the associated aggregates, specifically the 21 wholesome consciousness and 38 mental factors, right? So this is where this relationship is taking place, right? And among these, there are two situations, right? So number one situation regarding the root condition, hetu, is that the two wholesome roots supporting uh, supporting uh, supporting the associated aggregates, right? Among these two wholesome roots, non-greed and non-hatred are found in the two rooted consciousness moment, and the second situation is the three wholesome roots, non-greed, non-hatred, and non-delusion, which are found in the three rooted consciousness moment, right? So these are the conditioning phenomena. So what it means as these are the conditioning phenomena is these the two wholesome roots, and then the three wholesome roots, right? So these are the conditioning phenomena. And then we go to the dative case phrase, which is now these terms are really used in Burmese text, right? I mean, the subject phrase, the dative case phrase, and the instrumental case phrase, they have used in this way to understand its the Pali and connect it with the analytical states in easily, right? So it's now in the dative phrase, we know it's the conditioned state. So what are those conditioned states? The 21 wholesome consciousness and 38 mental factors, which are associated aggregates, and they are obtained, they are taken as the conditioned phenomenon. So now we come to the hetu paccayena, right, which is the instrumental case phrase. So I need to explain another detail here that you need to know, right? So before starting this chapter, what we did here, right? What we did here, like starting from our previous class, we investigated the commons for each of these conditions, right? So for each of these conditions, starting from the root, uh, we understood what are the commons, right? What are the commons for each of the cases, right? I'm sorry, with each of the pachas, right? So, but what we are doing here really is based on this knowledge, we'll be specifically looking at these individual answers, right? And find out what are the commons, right? So what we did here was it's in general, right? So we, like we said, hetu, the root and the adipati, they become common due to vimansa adipati, right? Because of the predominance of investigation. But here we'll be specifically looking at, right, for in certain cases, in certain in certain answers, in certain answers, that this relationship between hetu and adipati is not there, right? Like that, we'll be looking at specific cases here, right, that you need to understand. So here, some like what we did here was it was in general, right? So now here we'll be looking at very specific uh, specific uh, answers. Kusalo kusalasa separately, kusalo abhyakatasa separately, like that. Okay, so now we'll go through the instrumental phrase for the kusalo kusalasa, wholesome to wholesome. Right? So the forces of root, predominance, connaissance, mutuality, dependence, association, faculty, path, presence, and non-disappearance result in the specific force of root condition among the 10 conditioning forces obtained completely and appropriately. So there are 10 in total here, right? So, but we know that for the hetu, how many were there? 12, right? 12, right? 8 here, 9, 10, 11, including hetu, the root, there were 12. So, but only from that 12, 10 are applicable. Okay. Right. So for the conditioning phenomena, the two roots, non-greed and non-hatred, they apply to the two-rooted consciousness. We already know that. And for the three-rooted consciousness, right? So I mean, non-greed, non-hatred, and non-delusion, they apply for the three-rooted wholesome consciousness, right? So it works like that, right? So so we have to take the completely and appropriately thing in this phrase based on the previous knowledge, and we can start with the most easier one, which is the great connaissance subgroup, and it is applied with the to the wholesome phenomena in full, right? So it is considered to be completely because they when the hetu, the two, either the two roots or the three roots in the wholesome consciousness, when they support their respective associated aggregates, it supports fully. Okay, so do we have any questions? If you have any questions that we can discuss here and move into the, we can move further.
So
Yes, correct. Correct. Still the, I mean, correct. The question is correct. Micca Vayama and Micca Samadhi. It's correct. So they arise in the unwholesome consciousness. Still the analytical states are going to be the same, right? So for Micca Samadhi, it's going to be its one-pointedness, and Micca Vayama, it's going to be effort. I mean, now what we were discussing as two-rooted chitta and three-rooted chittas are from here from the kusala. So for the akusala, there are two-rooted chittas and one-rooted chittas. Right? For the consciousnesses associated with greed, there are two roots, and for the consciousness associated with hatred, they have two roots, and for the delusion consciousness, there is only one root. Yes, I think it's all right.
yeah, okay.
So, okay, can you ask the students whether they understand? Now I explain how this became. I mean, how when the hetu, when the two roots or the three roots are supporting their associated aggregates. That I mentioned that the four paccayas from the connaissance grade group become common. So can they really understand this thing, how it happens specifically in this context, in the kusalo kusalasa or hetu?
如果大家
Okay,
需要老
I'll
师
explain. Okay, I will explain it, right? So I will explain it.
Okay.
So yeah, so we take our anchor condition is the root condition, right? And we have the three roots, right? And then we have the two roots. So these are the conditioning states, right? And then they support the conditioned states which are the associated aggregates, right? So they support in this way. So our condition for the comparison, right? Comparison is the connaissance, right? So connaissance we know, right? So when the wholesome are supporting the wholesome, which means that we have to find, I mean, we need to understand this relationship, right? So three aggregates, the three wholesome aggregates, they support one wholesome aggregate, right? So this happens among, I mean, within the 21 consciousness and 38 mental factors, right? This is the breakdown. So then this one aggregate support the three aggregates, right? Then the two aggregate supports the two aggregates, right? And it happens reciprocally, right? So this relationship is taking place. So what is common in this scenario
is that now among these three aggregates here, right, three aggregates and two aggregates here, in the formations aggregate, there are these three roots and two roots, right? And for this side, for the associated aggregates, it's the same, right? So what is common here, right? How we should plot the common thing is from this part only, right? The three roots and the two roots, and sorry, and this part only, right? Which are common. So we have to understand it this way, right? Not all the consonants, or not all the conditioning state and the condition state are common, right? Only this part is common. So which means when these three roots and two roots are supporting the associated aggregates, there are two conditioning forces here, right? Supporting, one is the root condition, the second one is the consonance condition, right? So you have to understand in this way. Okay, so the other thing that you need to understand, this relationship is completely, right? This relationship came as completely, right? So it's completely, which means that when these three roots and the two roots are supporting the associated aggregates, the consonants will completely, the consonance conditioning force will have the a complete uh, parallel relationship with the associated aggregates, because the consonance condition will cover all of these three roots and the associated aggregates. 3 to 1 and 1 to 3, no. I mean, I just indicated how it works. I mean, what I presented here was, I initially presented the relationship, how the conditioning forces are connected to the condition state in root condition, and secondly I mentioned that how it works with in consonants, right? How it works in consonants, and then I specifically highlighted in which part. I mean, say like for the like the three roots and the two roots, which comes here in the consonants, here, when they support the associate aggregates in the root condition, it does not have any reciprocal relationship, right? It does not have any reciprocal relationship. So for the root condition, it's only one way, right? So it does not have any reciprocal. So whatever this in the Sahajāta Paccaya also, when you are considering, so when we are considering the root condition, we only take this part only, one-way relationship only, with the consonants also, right? We do not take the whole thing. So what I presented really here with the consonants is like what is happening in the consonants as a whole, and then I explain which one is applicable, which goes with root condition. So the relationship which I presented here, now this is applicable for all the paccayas from the consonants grade subgroup. And what about the case with the consonants middle group? So what is the case? Right, so for the consonants middle group, we have how many paccayas? We have the mutuality here, and then we have the association, right? So for the mutuality and the association, again, it is applicable in full, right? It's applicable in full, which means when the two roots are supporting the associated aggregates, the mutuality is also there. So it's supporting with mutuality too, but it takes place one way only. Right? Okay, I should prove. Right. So okay. So for this one, so yeah. Okay. So for the now I'm comparing this with the mutuality. The mutuality condition. So in the mutuality condition, the relationship, right, between three aggregates and the two aggregates are the same as the connaissance. But we have to understand the mutuality, it's again two-way, right? Three aggregates supporting to one aggregate, like that. So, but for the root, it's one way, right? Two roots supporting the associated aggregate, right? So we have to take only that part, right? And when this mutuality is applicable, it's again applicable in full. So the other paccaya, which comes from the Sahajāta middle subgroup, is the association. So we have the association here. So for the association also, it is for the association, it's also the same way as the mutuality. So what are the other common paccayas? We have Adhipati, Indriya, and Magga, right? So which become common, right? So three paccayas are there. Adhipati, the predominance, right? We have the, okay. We have three paccayas here from the Sahajāta small groups. So small group which is common. Right? Okay. So it's the faculty. I'm sorry, starting from predominance, and path, right? Faculty and path. So these three are the commons, right? Which are common. And if you remember for the paccayas, for these three paccayas, predominance, faculty, and root, they became common with the root because of only one conditioning state, which is the non-delusion, right? Which is the non-delusion, amoha, right? So because of that, these three paccayas, it becomes common with the root appropriately, right? Because it's not capable of covering the root condition completely, right? So another thing which we need to know here is that non-delusion. So this non-delusion is, they arise only in three-rooted consciousness, the consciousness with associated with wisdom, non-delusion. So so in the two-rooted consciousness, these three conditions, predominance, faculty, and path conditions, they do not appear also, right? So that we need to know. And also with the predominance, the predominance condition, when we are learning the predominance condition, we learned that the Vimansadipati, investigation predominance, they do not arise every time in every non-delusion consciousness, right? In only specific cases when it is the predominance Dhamma, the predominance conditioning state, the conditioning force of predominance is there, right? So we need to understand it in this way. So that's why these three paccayas from the connaissance small group are common with the root condition in this way only. Okay, so if you have any questions, we can discuss now. If you don't have, then we can stop the class. Okay, so there are no questions, it seems. So we will share the merits which we accumulated by learning, teaching, reflecting, and translating these words of the Dhamma, of the Buddha. And we share these merits which we accumulated.
如果大家没有问题呢，那现在呢，老师就带领我们大家做分享，让我们将呢今天通过呢学习佛法，通过教导佛法，通过思维佛法，通过呢翻译佛法呢将这些呢佛陀的教导这个法的这个语言呢大家在一起在学习这边分享，将这个所累积的这个功德呢与所有的一切众生分享。
Akasatta Sabummatta Devanaga Mahidika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhantu Sasanang Akasatta Sabummatta Devanaga Mahidika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhantu Desanang Akasatta Sabummatta Devanaga Mahidika Punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu mang parang idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhita huntu ñātayo imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo Satan samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya yang patntang kusalang tassa anubhavena panino sabbe saddhamma rajassa nyatva dhammang sukhavahang papunantu visuddhaya sukhaya patipattiya Asoka manupayasang nibbana sukhamuttamang chirang tiṭṭhatu saddhammo dhamme hontu sagarava sabbepi satta kalena samma devo pavassatu yatarakkinsu purana Surajano tatevimang raja rakkatu dhammena attanova pajang imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya buddhang pujemi imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya dhammang pujemi Imaya dhammanu dhamma patipattiya sanghang pujemi addhaimaya patipattiya jati jara vyadhi maranamha parimuccissami idamme punyang asavakkaya vahang hotu idamme punyang Banassa paccayo hotu mama punya bhagang sabba sattanang bhajemi te sabbe me samang punya bhagang labhantu buddha sasanang chirang tiṭṭhatu buddha sasanang chirang tiṭṭhatu Buddha sasanang chirang tiṭṭhatu sadhu sadhu sadhu.
Thank you very much, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you for translation.
Thank you very much, Bhante.